think we're pretty good to go, guys. First off, thank you so much for joining us for today, and as we kind of take a look at the 2026 annual paperweights for the Paperweight Collectors Association. My name is Eric Jump. I'm currently the vice president of that association. I've been involved in multiple different areas of paperweight collecting. And it's something that I really love doing, and that's why we're here today to kind of to join in and kind of sharing this passion together. Um, Kind of a little bit of the order of the day during kind of like the main presentation. If you can kind of keep your mics muted, that would be grateful. I'd be grateful for that. And it'd be the speakers would be grateful for that as well. And then we'll go through and we'll take a look and we'll visit with each of the three artists today. And the three artists, and this is maybe a little preface to the presentation because we haven't even introduced those artists for the most part, but we have Clinton Smith, we have Stephen Boehme, Richard Loesel, and Renaud. And is it Renaud? Is it Renaud de Putter? Is that how you pronounce your name? I'm sorry.
Yes, yes, you can pronounce it like that if you want. It's perfect.
How do you like it? How do you like to present? How do you
Normally it's more the putter, but you
Putter?
can do it
Okay.
the
That's
way
what I
you
was
like.
thinking too. Okay, very good. Thank you. Um, so we'll take a look at each of these artists' special paperweight that they made for us, and then as I was saying, we'll open it up for questions, question comment section at the end, um, and and we'll get the show on the road from there. Um, so let me go ahead and share. I put together a little slideshow for us to speak to, and we'll get that shared and get that on the screen, and we'll kind of get going with the day. And again, thank you so much for everybody who came out today. It really means a lot. Not just it just being here. It really means a lot to the artists, to us as an organization. Any little bit helps, and any little bit we're grateful for. Everybody should be able to see this slideshow that I have currently on the screen. And Clinton, Steve, Renaud, and Steve, if you guys want to share your screen as we go through these lectures, just let me know. Just give a holler. I'll kind of go through the slides, and if you want me to pause or go back, just let me know. But I'll be kind of driving it for the most part. Um, but. The Paperweight Collectors, a little bit about who we are, if this is the first time, your first experience with us. The Paperweight Collectors Association is a group that was organized in 1953. Our core mission is to, one, educate its members and the general public about the history, origin, quality, genuineness, and the artistic merit of glass paperweights and related objects. And then a big part of that is to promote research in the area of paperweights, paperweight making, identification, historical, geographical, and cultural origins of paperweights. This photo here was taken from a past biannual paperweight convention. I think this one was done. I think this is from the Flint Institute of Art, and they have a really great hot shop and with just really wonderful seating. And these are a few of the folks who were there at that convention. A little bit about the annual paper program. It used to be a biannual program that would come out to coincide with the convention year. So instead of having like a paperweight every year is what we have now. In the past, it used to be a paperweight that would celebrate the convention. But in 2023, we switched that and changed it to an annual program. The proceeds for the sales of these paperweights, they support and benefit both the PCA and the artist. And it's just another way for us to kind of help to support our artists and help to spread our mission. Every year we send out a call for submissions to all the registered paperweight artists. This year we had 8 submissions from 5 different artists. And on off years we don't always give guidance, but during a convention year, like in 2026, we're going to be going to the Corning Museum of Glass in Corning, New York, in May, May 13th through the 16th. And so usually during convention years, we try to give a little bit of direction, a little bit of encouragement to the artists in areas where they can find inspiration. In this call for submissions, we offered um, some of the symbols of the state of New York, and then also of Corning, New York is uh, and the museum in itself. Some of those symbols that you see in these photos and drawings here are Little Joe, who is the gaffer, and he's kind of like, I don't know the exact history of it, but he's kind of like the symbol for Corning, New York. And the gaffer can be seen in the upper left photo there, with a gentleman or an artist carrying holding a an iron, and then underneath it says the PCA 2026. And then on the right hand side, there's a drawing there from Renaud and there's the gaffer again, and surrounded by some leaves and some birds. So the other symbols that we're seeing here are the bluebird, and then we have the sugar maple leaves that you see in some of these paperweights. When we call for submissions, this is often what the board of directors receives. It would be kind of unfair for us to just have them make a paperweight and send us in a paperweight. Some artists like to work that way, and they'll actually go and make out a paperweight for us and send us pictures of paperweights. But more frequently than not, we receive a drawing, and that's what we received here. Upper left is a drawing that was done from the submission made by Stephen Boehme. The upper right is the drawing done by Renaud, and he and Richard Loesel collaborated on this special paperweight. And then the bottom image is actually a finished paperweight that was submitted by Clinton Smith. And here's the finished paperweights. So this is the big reveal. So uh, you can see here that, and this may be even a first time for the artists themselves seeing each other's work too. So each of the works has the bluebird. Um, we also see some of the sugar maple leaves. But it was a really tough decision this year with so many great submissions. Um, the board thought that it would be impossible to narrow it down to just two, and these three works really kind of like stood out. And we also really appreciated just the diversity in the work that's shown here. There's so many different techniques that are involved in each of these works, and it was just a really special opportunity for us to make this selection and to support the artist for their efforts. With that, we'll now hear from each of the artists themselves. I'll first hand it off to Clinton Smith, and this is his work. I don't have the dimensions here, Clinton. I forgot to get that added to the slideshow. But if you could speak a little bit about, the dimensions and what all is involved here, and maybe some of the inspiration behind that, I would appreciate it.
Sure, sounds good. Okay. Well, if I can remember off the top of my head, I made this back in August. I believe the dimensions were around 3.5 inches wide, about 2.5 inches tall, I believe. Um, and my inspiration was the New York State bluebird. And I Googled the New York State fruit, which is the apple, and I decided to make apple blossoms to go with the bluebird. And I wanted to make the bluebird because I just love making critters, animals, frogs, anything that moves, more or less. I like to make. So that was pretty much the inspiration behind that. And I also like to make the piece as opposed to drawing up an illustration because I want to know if I can actually do what I'm going to be making. I'd hate to draw something up and then really challenge myself and try to figure out how to go about making that particular piece. Um, so at the moment right now, I'm actually sitting at my workbench in the studio. I'm going to have Eric flip me over so I can do a brief little tour of my shop. Yes, so you can see where I make everything and all my favorite tools and all that stuff. So Eric can switch me over. That would be awesome.
There you go, Clinton.
Okay, I'm live now.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So I'm sitting where I normally sit at my workbench. My torch is underneath of me at the moment. This is what I use. I use a Carlisle CC. I've had this torch for, I don't know, so long I don't remember, maybe 20 years. I really don't know. It's been a great torch. Um, does everything I need to do from it. I've got all my little hand tools, like these tweezers. This is probably my favorite tool right here. I use this tool probably more than I do anything else. Little sculpting tools. A lot of these are dental tools that I use. My former dentist, before he retired, would save me all his tools, give them to me. So I'll show you my workstation where I sit. So this is where I would normally be sitting. As I make things throughout the day, especially larger things like the Bluebird, for instance, I would put it in this oven right here. It's actually a hair curling oven, but that thing gets up to over 1,000 degrees. And I use it as an annealing oven. And at the end of the day, I just cover it with that just to keep any dust out of it and let things cool down overnight. Got my little music player here. It also plays shows. I've been watching Little House on the Prairie while I work on that. And glass rods that I use. I do use powders as well. I'll show you where I keep all those powders. This is my cold working area. So here's some of my enamels that I use in this cabinet. I've got more in these cabinets. This is where I do the cold working. This lathe here I use for polishing out the domes and the bottoms of the paperweights. There's my flat grinder that I would use. I also have a marble machine, so I can get nice perfect spheres. They use different grit cups. I keep all those grits. And this cabinet right here, this is my annealing oven. So all my work that I'm making throughout the day goes inside this kiln. And at the end of the day, I just run it through my program. It's all digital, which makes things nice and easy for me. And this is another kiln. I use this one for actually encasing. My vacuum cup is probably in it. I use these when I work as well. I need these when I work because I can't see what I'm doing. So there's my vacuum cup inside here. I do take this out in between every piece. If I leave it in here and just encase one piece after another, this gets hot and the glass starts to stick to it. So I cool it down in between pieces. Here's my hot plate. So as I make work, it all goes on this hot plate. I do have some leftover components that just didn't quite fit in another paperweight before. Just some little flowers and whatnot. So everything will get assembled on that. I use this little hand torch to put everything together. These little jars that you see, I use those for if I'm working on multiple paperweights at once. I usually like to encase 2 to 3 paperweights at a time because my electric bill is through the roof. So I like to get as much work in my kiln as I can. So I'll make a setup. I'll put it in one of those jars. It keeps the dust off so I don't get any contaminations. And I use short pipes when I work. These are the pipes that I use for picking up the glass on. They're about 2 feet long, I guess. And I would normally have them on this roller right here with my torch, hitting the end to get that glass nice and hot. The glass I do use comes in bars, about that. They're about 4 feet long, 2 feet in diameter. Got some more down under here. And I also use a glory hole when I work. It's a tiny glory hole. It didn't get hot enough when I first purchased it, so I did a few modifications, and it gets pretty darn hot now. This is just a heat shield. So when I'm standing in front of this glory hole, it does get pretty hot, and that helps keep the heat off me. I am in the process of building a hot shop at the moment. So there's the furnace. I'm hoping to get this all plumbed in once I get back from the convention. And I'll be building a larger glory hole. Here's the drum for that glory hole, and all the bricks and all the material that I will be needing to build that is all right here. I like to shoot a little pool as well to take a break here and there. There's a much larger annealing oven once I get the hot shop going. That's where all the bigger work will be going. This is a V block. This would be used for doing straight angles on larger scale blown work. You would line it with wet newspaper. Over here, the wet saw. I use this saw for cutting those bars that I use. So depending on the size of the paperweight I'm making, I cut those bars to different lengths. So my standard size weight, that would be about 3.5 inches by 2.5 tall. Those bars get cut at 3.5 inches, and the bottom half is about 2 inches. And smaller weights get smaller cuts. And here's another oven. I use this oven as a garage. So I'm not making my paperweights out of a furnace, so I need to keep one half hot while I'm working on the other half. So I usually make the bottom half that's just clear. I put it in this kiln and just keep it hot while I'm doing my encasement. And underneath of it is where I keep my rods of all my colors, bars. Some of the colors I use, they don't make in lamp working canes, so I have to pull them out and make my own canes as well. I also have these bars. These are smaller bars that I would use for my marbles. For marbles, I use a graphite stump sucker. Right here, I just keep this paper towel in there just to keep the dust out of it. But that's what I would use for making smaller marbles. That's about 1.5 inches in diameter. So this afternoon, I'll be running the marble machine this afternoon. There's a bunch of my hand tools that I'll be using for the hot shop, jacks and shears, and there's some graphite molds that Ken Rosenfeld sent me. Of course, you got to have an exhaust system. You got to pull all your heat and fumes out of your workspace, because you don't want to be breathing that stuff in. So I think that pretty much sums up the shop, I guess, what I got going on in here.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Sure.
That's a cool behind the scenes little treat there. I do have just a couple really short videos that I'll share, just to kind of so that we can visualize exactly the technique that you're using here. So Clinton works in flame work, and he sculpts at a torch with colored rods and those various tools. And then once these sculptures are built out and annealed, he assembles them at a hot plate like this before encasing them in the solid clear crystal. And there's just a couple quick videos. And again, here's his the finished work for the 2026 annual paperweight. Really great paperweight, really beautiful, Clinton. Thank you so much for doing that for us.
Sure, thank you.
Next on our list, we have Richard Loesel and Renaud Duputer. I'll hand it off to you guys. If there's, again, if you want to share your video, just let me know. I do have a couple other items that we can take a look at.
Thank you very much, Eric. I don't know, Richard, how do you want us to present the weight? Would you like me to translate your first presentation, or would you like me to speak for both of us?
Tu vas te parler, Renaud, il n'y a pas de souci.
C'est vrai? Okay. So
C'est mieux.
I will try to speak for both of us. And yes, this paperweight, it's on clear ground. It's not obvious here because of the dark background. But I had this question for Clinton too. Is your paperweight on a clear ground or is it on white ground?
It's on a clear ground.
Clear ground too. Yes. Our is also on clear ground. And so it's a collaboration between Richard and me. I do the small medallion in the center, and I propose a general composition. And Richard realized the torch composition and realized also the inclusion of the piece. Yes. So speaking about my special part, it's drawing with enamel on a very small white medallion. Inclusion of enamel in painting is a little bit tricky. So we had to work carefully the process to improve it so that we can have an inclusion which is of high quality aesthetically. And regarding the lamp work by Richard, but this is his specialty. He's very much talented with this part of the job. As Clinton, I used the bluebird, which is a symbol of the state, I think, from the state of, yes. And also the ladybug and the maple leaves. And I tried to create a composition, a global composition, which was balanced with this medallion. The fact is that the medallion takes the central position so that the lampwork composition is on the side. And that's why we have this flat cut of the paperweight. The paperweight has a flat cut on the top. And this is to make the subject concentrate and so that everything is made visible, because otherwise part of the drawing would of course disappear in the slope of the weight. Yes, I think that's what I can say. I will ask Richard if he has something to say spécifiquement. Richard, tu as quelque chose à ajouter par rapport à la présentation?
Oui, peut-être par rapport à l'enverrage. Donc, la difficulté majeure, c'est quand même la température d'enverrage. Parce que normalement, j'enverre mes sujets à 1200 degrés. Et donc là, comme c'est un peu compliqué au niveau des émaux, donc il faut que je baisse considérablement la température du verre pour enverrer le médaillon. Et donc, il faut que le verre soit suffisamment chaud pour englober les petits éléments et ne pas brûler les émaux. Donc ça, je pense que, je ne sais pas si tu l'as...
Non, je vais le dire. Yes, the difficulty for the inclusion of the enamel subject is the question of temperature, of course, because high temperature, 1200 degrees, is too high for inclusion of enamel because it will destroy the colors. And so Richard has to go as much as possible low in temperature to realize the inclusion, which is a little bit tricky. And so yes, that's what he said. C'est ça que tu voulais dire, Richard? Oui. Hein.
Parce que tu as dit, ouais, mais ça doit être parfait.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, the trickiness of the process is on the both sides. For me, I have to have really strong colors and enamels and to work with thick layers, multiple layers to make the subject stable. And I have also to cook it not too high, so that part of the enamelization, I don't know if the word exists in English, but the process of enameling occurs at the time of the inclusion. So I only do a part which is half finished, I give it to Richard, and he finished the enamelization of the piece during the inclusion.
Okay.
It's Richard who sent me, of course, the little glass medallion, which is my working basis, of course.
Perfect.
Voilà.
So just to be clear, so the central figure of the gentleman with the iron and the little holding the little bird, that's the central medallion that's all enamel work, and it's done on a white opaque blank, like a
Yes. Mm-hmm.
maybe how big do you think that piece is that you're working on, Renaud?
The medallion is about, c'était combien, Richard? 3 cm, je pense, maximum.
3 centimètres, oui.
Oui. The medallion is about 3 centimeters. That means that, for example, the bird is really small in the inside of the of the paperweight, which the glassmaker is doing in the image. Yes, and we have to keep the size of the medallion as small as possible in order to make the lampwork composition possible and to have enough space to do it. Yeah.
Perfect. And then so you actually fire the enamels on
Mm.
and kind of like a preliminary firing before
Yes,
they're encased.
partially fired. Yes,
Okay.
and I work with pins, because pinceau, I don't know the word for pinceau in English.
Yeah, pencil. Yeah.
Pencils are too big, of course, to work on that piece. So I have to work on very small details.
And then quickly, if maybe give a little bit of background, Richard, could you speak to a little bit about your history, and then you as well, Renaud?
Yes. Donc Richard, tu parles un peu de ton expérience et ton histoire dans la fabrication de presse-papier.
Ben, mon histoire, elle a commencé en 1980 à Saint-Louis. Donc, j'ai travaillé à la préparation des presse-papiers à Saint-Louis pendant une vingtaine d'années. Et puis en même temps, je faisais les tirages des cannes. Et puis après, j'ai travaillé une quinzaine d'années à Meisenthal où j'ai vraiment appris le métier de verrier, quoi. Donc, deux choses différentes. Comme on travaille un peu différemment par rapport aux Américains, donc nous, c'est plutôt le travail à la canne. On fait pas les presse-papiers au chalumeau comme certains artistes américains. Donc, on a plutôt une tradition de verrier à la canne pour les presse-papiers qu'on a hérité de Baccarat et de Saint-Louis. Voilà.
Mm-hmm. So Richard has begun to work in 1980s at Saint-Louis. He was at the preparation of paperweight there. And he worked there for 20 years. And then after, he worked at Meisenthal. And at Meisenthal, it was a general work at the different steps of the preparation of the paperweight. At Saint Louis, it was preparation of the lampwork subject. And then he also emphasized the difference between American way of working, which is more with flame work, and work with the cane, which is more traditional with Baccarat and Saint Louis in France. I hope my translation was
perfect.
okay.
And for you, Renaud?
Yes, for me, I'm basically a painter or a drawer, but I'm also a collector of paperweights since childhood. And so I was very much interested in the idea of creating a way of inserting drawing into a paperweight. And that's why I contacted Richard, and he was very enthusiastic about it. And so we are working together since 3 years, I think now, or something like that, or maybe 4, I don't know. Times goes quickly. And so we make works in collaboration in this direction.
Well, it's beautiful work. Thank you so much, both of you guys.
Right.
It's really amazing, very special. It's very unique to be able to have this combination of techniques within the paperweight form, and I
Mhm.
applaud both of your efforts for making that happen. It's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eric.
I will hand it over to Stephen Boehme now, who will talk a little bit about himself and the paperweight that he made for us here.
Cool. You got slides, or you just want me to
Yeah, I
talk?
have the slides. You want me to just kind of jump into it a little bit? I don't know.
Okay, so in the first picture on the right is a finished build with a little bird, and I have the little tile of the glass blower, Little Joe, and I actually used my son as a model for the Little Joe. Made him pose for me last time he was here for Thanksgiving, and then the bird Marini I made on the side. Marini is built up. It's more painterly. I paint with stringers or thin rods of glass, and I have to mix 90% of my colors are not available. I have to combine and mix colors to get the colors. It's the same as mixing paint as an artist paints. But I paint and draw at 2300 degrees, and I sculpt at the same time. I'm building a three-dimensional object that will get pulled down into a cane and then cut and made into, we call them coins or chips, and they are polished, and then I can layer those up inside of the paperweights and marbles. But it takes a lot of canes and a lot of pieces. You can see the drawing in the middle. I do a drawing of things to wrap my head around them, and that's my son. And you can see all the parts that go into that. And then you can see my apprentice polishing right there. She's pretty awesome. She comes in twice a week and polishes. But it built up a lot of coins, and one of the problems I have is they get big and then I have to pull them down. And sometimes you lose the detail. And I was trying to figure out how to get the entire glass blower on there. And there's just no way. If I fit him in and keep pulling him down, it'll be too small to be in the paperweight. And I got to pull him down pretty small to even fit into the paperweight. Everything you see in my paperweight fits into a 2-inch marble mold, a 2-inch stump sucker. Yeah, can you switch to me? So I just want to show the process I've been playing with. Be hard to see these little guys. I don't know if you can see him. Little cute bird. So this is a piece of Marini cane of a bluebird that was been cut. And I took them over to the Dremel, and I've been experimenting with dremeling the little bluebirds three-dimensional and carving them. They look pretty realistic when I'm done. I wish you could see them better. They're so cute. I didn't understand how small the little figures in the paperweight until I saw Dave Graber and Clinton and Gordon making those little tiny sculptures to fit in there. And I am not that kind of a person. I don't work really small, so it's been really challenging to me. I love Marini though. And this is the head of the bluebird, piece of the cane. And this was actually probably double life size of the bluebird before I pulled them down. I worked pretty big. And here's a picture of, here's the little cane of Little Joe. And this is just a section of cane that I have left over. Here's a little setup before it goes in the kiln. I made this morning. You can't see him too good. But this little bluebird and the tile, these are set up. I got them on a punty right now, and these are probably 1,000 degrees. I put this together while I was waiting for the meeting to start. And this will go and set inside of a stump sucker, which is, mine's pretty hammered, but I'll fill them full of frit, and the frit will sit down inside here, and then I'll lay my image of my little bird and my thing down inside there. And then I have to heat it with a torch. I use my hand torch. I got a big hand torch by my bench, and I'll heat that up while I'm heating the big ball of glass with this torch at the same time. If my apprentice is around, I can do it, get it hot. This is hot. He goes down in there, and I'm raging it, and it gets so hot that the glass barely is dripping off my punty. And then I just slam it into the mold, and I have about probably 3 seconds. And in that 3 seconds, anything can happen. If it's not hot enough, the glass won't go around and encase the Marini and the little leads and stuff I made. And the little leads you can't even see them. They're the size of, I don't know, it's about 5-6 millimeters. And so the whole thing is less than an inch. And then before I put them in there. I work in borosilicate glass. And borosilicate, it's a glass that you have to get a lot harder than soda lime glass. Soda lime glass can start to melt about 1200 degrees. The glass I use has to get up about 2400 degrees to encase the Marini and my little bird in the mold. I also, on the back, I'm just starting to learn about grounds. I didn't understand paperweight, but I have a little bed of frit underneath the leaves, and the back side of the paperweight, I blow a little ball of glass. We call these wigwag balls, and I've always loved them. But I'll spin one of these out into a disc, and here's a little wigwag disc. I'll spin this out into a disc, and this is what I do for the back of the paperweight. And this will be blown into a disc, and then I do what's called stuffing, and I'll stuff the paperweight into the disc, and then I melt it in and shape it. And I'm learning to blow more and more. As a Marini artist for so long, I didn't learn how to blow glass, but after it's all done, and I put these little leads around the back and the sides, and then I'll encase the whole thing with a 3-inch ball that I'll blow this out, and this will encase the whole paperweight, and then I'll use a vacuum and suck as I heat, and it will remove, this sucks this straight down, and whatever's inside of here will get sleeved. And then I'll melt everything in, shape it, and put it in the oven. And that's about the process for these things. Placement is an issue. I've already lost 2 of these because trying to get the bird and the paperweight and everything to read right. The placement has to be perfect, or else the edges will get smeared or I'll lose the image. And that's one thing where I'm just learning right now is how to lens paperweights and show off the little blown and lampwork animals and leaves and stuff to their best quality. And it's been great. And every one of the paperweight, all the paperweight of artists have been very kind to me and helping me understand some of these things. It's been a dream of mine since I was a little kid to, I want to see the world inside of a glass ball, and I thought it'd be cool. But yeah, I work in Boro glass. I'll just show you one of these. Probably tip it over. But these are my paints right here. And none of this paint comes from the store. This is white and cadmium oranges and reds and yellows mixed together to make my skin tones if I'm doing a portrait. I get primary colors, bright hues, but there's no pastels, there's no browns, there's no tans, there's no, if you want off-white, you have to mix yellow and brown into your glass. So it's just pretty much crayons, and then I can mix from there. Everything happens at a torch. I don't know. So here's my torch. It stands in the way. But I work on a torch, and I just stand here 8 hours a day, basically. That's about it. My shop looks a lot like Clinton's. It's a lot messier than his, so I'm not going to show you.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much, Steve. Let me go ahead and just share the last little bit that I have here. Well, thanks again, Stephen. I really appreciate that. It's a really unique piece. It's very different than because Stephen's working in borosilicate. It's a very different kind of like aesthetic. Very different techniques that are involved here. And it's exciting, and I think it's fascinating. I didn't have time to do photos of the sides, but this paperweight is also encrusted with Marini kind of like draping down the sides. There's a few leaves that are encrusted on the sides of this paperweight too. It's a really interesting and unique piece. once we get it online, everything online, I'll make sure that those photos are up there better to kind of help communicate that a little bit more. Really quick, uh, so Little Joe is the blower here in Stephen's piece, and that was also kind of showcased in Renaud and Richard's paperweight, and I don't know the entire history of it, but I believe that somehow he's kind of like the symbol of Corning, New York. And there's actually a statue of him down in the downtown area, and you see the imagery of this symbol throughout the town, and it's just kind of an icon of that village. With that, I will go ahead and I'm going to thank you again now, just in case I forget it, after the question and answer. But all these paperweights will be available in the coming soon. It'll be available soon. Once they are available to purchase online, our members will receive emails letting them know when and how and where to purchase these. And then I'll also make available a recording of this presentation. But for now, I'd like to kind of turn it over to you guys, the audience, for any kind of questions, answers, comments, and we can kind of go from there. Let me see if we had any questions come through the chat. I can't always.
Well,
You know,
I'll jump in and make a comment
yeah.
on the third technique with the Mirini. That's really interesting. I mean, I know a lot of people who are marble makers who sometimes make Mirini, and that's what, where it starts. But that's a very, very labor-intensive process. I'm glad to see that he put it into a paperweight. That was interesting.
Agreed. It's very interesting. And the other thing that's really interesting, Steve, is that you're starting to actually carve those. Is that what you're saying? That's pretty impressive. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, the Marini carving is an experiment. I've seen some people do it. Lauren Stump's done with his little cars. They're so cute, and the little cane cars.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I've been wanting to try to get the animals as realistic as possible, and it's taken a while to figure out how to do all this stuff. I'm only in glasswork probably 15 years, and so I've had a lot of catch up to do. It's been fun. But the Marini is base of, just like everything for me. It's where everything starts, and finding new ways to use them is always exciting for me.
Absolutely. There was a question. Let's see. Richard and Renaud. Are there other works in this style that the two of you have collaborated on?
Yes. We are busy since 3 years or since 4 years, I think, making this kind of pieces with the collaboration with enamel painting and flame work subjects. I had maybe something to add about our weight. The cane that the glass worker is holding, I did not put it in its mouth because when doing paperweight, it's not really blowing and it's more turning in the hand. And that's why I put it on the side and not on the mouth, even if I know that the real symbol of Corning is with the mouth. It was a small precision.
I think it communicates well still. It's okay. I think we all got it.
Eric, this is Diane.
Mm-hmm.
I can show another piece by Renaud and Richard, which I just acquired.
Oh, thank you very much. This is sweet of you. Can
everyone see it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. there.
There we go.
Yeah. And there you can see the lateral, the window, the cut
Yes.
window
The
of
top
the
facet, yeah.
yeah.
That one's interesting, because all the other ones you've done, I think that I've seen, it's been on a round disc. I don't know if you've
Correct.
done other ones that have been kind of like this with kind of like a figural blink.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
This one was very experimental, and I'm glad that you like it, Diane. It was really, yes, an experimental piece with trying to change the shape of um, the painted part. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, really neat piece. Thanks, Diane. That's
What was your inspiration for this drawing?
Oh, it's a little bit surrealistic, I think. I like very much surrealist painting, and so this idea of papillon, what's the name?
Butterfly.
Butterfly with eyes. I find it interesting. Richard likes a lot to do butterflies, but this is a different butterfly that we
Yes,
did.
yes, correct, yes. Well, it spoke to me because when I was much younger, maybe hippie-ish, I used to put makeup on my eye that looked like a butterfly.
Oh, great! So
So
Good
I
kudos
really,
with that, Diane.
really liked that.
thank you very much.
That's great.
That's a beautiful paperweight.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
And Rich, you said that was an enamel on the wings were made on enamel, or how?
The
It's
wings
like
were
enamel
very,
on metal. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
it's a opaline, a white opaline, the wings, and it's painted.
Yeah.
The difficulty in this piece was to associate the different parts, and so it was a little bit tricky too. Richard, est-ce que tu as quelque chose à ajouter sur cette boule-là?
Le papillon?
Oui.
Non, c'est vrai que bah, le problème, c'est toujours le transport. C'est par rapport aux ailes qu'il faut réunir après une fois que c'est peint. Donc, comme on peut plus trop euh, brûler les mailles pour rassembler les ailes, donc
Yeah.
ça, c'est le côté complexe. Ouais, donc,
Yeah. So the difficulty was to assemblate the different parts of the butterfly without burning the enamels. And so it's a balance, a difficult balance to find for Richard in doing this piece.
There was a question about the sizes of these pieces. Let me see if I have them available, and I can try to share them in my hand so you can get a better idea.
And just as a note while he's doing that, when we post these paperweights for sale, the measurements will be included on the website.
All right, let's see if I can. I don't know if there's a good way to share myself per se. Let me see. Here we go. Spotlight for all. All right. Well,
There you
now
go.
it's really big. Okay, so so here is Richard and Renaud's piece.
Oh, cool.
Really nice.
So you can see that the disc, it's a white blank that they use, and then Renaud applies and fires the decoration on that blank. Richard does all the flame work decoration around it. And then of course the top facet to kind of help pull it together. Renaud was mentioning that because it's a dome, if it didn't have that top facet, you can kind of make out how you're kind of losing some of the decoration along the edges. So the top facet helps to kind of like magnify it and focus it back towards the center.
Very nice.
So this is about this is probably about 3 inches, maybe a little bit over 3 inches. And then we have Clinton Smith's piece. The flowers have a little bit of a blush to it, I would say. There's a very subtle pink to the flowers. Very dimensional work. I love how Clinton did the feathers on this. I think they're really great.
Beautiful.
And this one's a little bit bigger. I would say this one's probably maybe 3 1/4, 3 3/8, and then maybe 2 2 1/4, 2 1/2 tall. And then finally, we have Stephen's work here. It's kind of hard to get it
That's good.
with all
Yeah.
the glare and everything, but I'll kind of try to move it around.
And the back.
And then you can see along the sides, he has the Marini along the sides
Beautiful.
here. Oh, yeah, and then the back.
Mm-hmm.
This is like
Thank you for explaining how you marry those two pieces, Stephen. That was interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, my weights will be they'll be as close to 3 inches as I can get them.
So the challenge with Boro is it's very hard. It's the larger you go with Boro, it becomes more and more challenging. Just the heat and everything. It's just a very different material.
You have this experience now, Eric. It was amazing to see that.
Yeah, no, it's these are I think this is, Steve, I don't, I wouldn't, I don't think you need to push it. I mean, I like this size. I think this is perfectly fine. I think this is a great size. But it's been a real treat having you guys all here. Are there any other questions? Let me take a look here. Let me remove myself. There we go. I think I saw something come through. There's a lot of great comments. Thank you. These are all beautiful. Any other comments or questions from anybody in the audience here?
I think all three of them are absolutely spectacular. I mean, thank you for gathering such talented artists into one. You call it a competition, if almost, but it's not. It's one display.
Yeah, it's just a fun opportunity to kind of collaborate with the artists and give them another space to show their work, another opportunity for them to sell work. I think it's a really special program for the PCA, and it's just a great way of kind of like celebrating the year, as we move forward. It's going to be a really special year for the Corning convention. If you've never been to Corning, this is the convention to go to. It's in a really, really amazing place, an incredible collection, incredible studio, fun, cute town. So I would really encourage you all, if you haven't been thinking about it yet, to please be thinking about coming out for the convention in May. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think. Details on that are already online. They'll be coming out. More details will be coming out in the newsletter. And just keep a close eye on our website, newsletter, and through social media. We'll be pushing out information as the year goes through. As we get closer to convention. Registration. We haven't really put a date yet of when registration will be coming out, but my feeling is probably sometime maybe February would be a reasonable time for us to kind of start thinking about that. Just keep a close eye out. If you have questions on any of that, any details relating to the convention, you can shoot us an email at info@paperweight.org. And then, of course, these wonderful paperweights will be available very soon. I'm thinking maybe as soon as the first of the year, or if we can get our act together, maybe before the holidays, but sometime soon. And then an email will come out with that information as well on how and where to purchase those. They'll be available to members. They'll be restricted to members primarily. So if you're not a member already, this might be a good opportunity for you to join. Membership starts at $35 per year. And that gives you access to our bulletin, our newsletters, these great events like this, and the community of collectors that are behind us.
Thank you, Eric, for organizing this.
It's my pleasure. Anybody have any other comments, questions for our artist?
There's a few in the chat.
There's a few in the chat. Let's take a look. Where do the artists reside? Maybe if each of you wanted to kind of just speak about where all you guys are from. Clinton?
I'm in Utah.
I think Steve said he is from Utah. Clinton, where are you from? I don't know exactly.
I live in Western Mass, up in the mountains. I don't know if you can see my camera right now. This is what I'm looking at right now. My studio is in Peru, Massachusetts. My house is in Hinsdale, Massachusetts. We have 10.5 acres, and it is divided right down the center. So I get to pay 4 property taxes at my house. And where we are is the highest elevation in the state. So we get a fair amount of snow like we do right now.
Nice. And then there was a question. Oh, Renaud and Richard,
Yes.
whereabouts do you reside?
Richard is in Lorraine. Richard, tu es où?
Bah, à côté des musées de Saint-Louis, de Lalique et de Meisenthal.
Yes. Donc, near Saint Louis, at a few meters, a few kilometers of Saint Louis, Meisenthal, in this region, and I am from Brussels, Belgium.
Perfect. Thank you guys. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you to the artists for for believing in this program and for your efforts. I really appreciate everybody here on this Zoom. If there's more questions that come up, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. And if there's other comments or anything, feel free to reach out as well. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming out, and have a happy holiday and happy New Year.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Thank you for you too. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.